Curtis Sheetz, Spin Board President, entrepreneur, family man. We caught up with Curtis in his Santa Ana neighborhood, where he welcomed us into his home with open arms.
So growing up as a kid in Orange County, back in the 60s, we had neighborhoods. So most often we were out playing our sports because sports was big with the four boys. And having three of us in high school at the same time, oh boy, was that a challenge for my parents to try to get to a game to come watch us play. So we played a lot of sports. Our friends were all engaged with sports. And so I think if you look at how structured our life was, it was really all about trying to get our grades so we could be eligible to play sports. Cheetzes are baseball guys. So probably the most influential individuals in my life were not my teachers. They were my coaches because they understood me. I actually got kicked out of Catholic school moving from 4th grade into 5th grade because they saw my report cards. I got all U's and F's in conduct because I was one of those kids that had ADHD. And they wanted to put Ritalin on me. And my mom's like, no, he just has a lot of energy. He's a good boy. The discipline that I earned in my life was through my sports because my coaches were very structured. And as a young man, I didn't like structure. And there goes why I had issues in the classroom. But once I got on the sports field, it was a whole different scenario for me in my life. How I translated the sports prowess in the classroom was difficult. Because in Catholic schools, when you raise your hand, you'd have to stand up out of your desk. And if you got the answer wrong, then you would be teased by the kids. Ergo, why I got in trouble. I would fight. I'd beat them up. So that wasn't the right thing to do, and there's where my problem from the schoolyard back into the class. It was difficult for me to translate, to get focused, you might say. I'm getting recognized for good stuff for a change, because I never did as a kid. I got acknowledged because he was the worst kid in the class. So we were a large family and didn't have a lot of means, so we lived a very simple life. And just to have a bed, I mean, I had to sleep with my brother until I was probably 10 or 11. We didn't have our own room. So that was, a challenge as you become a teenager to be able to now get along with your siblings, to see these folks that just they're putting, multiple groups of individuals into a single room. That just pulls on my heartstrings because I know how I felt when I didn't have my own space as a young man. My dad, hardest working guy in the earth. He retired from the post office, 3,000 hours of sick leave. Hey Dad, you could take like a year and a half off and call in sick, and they would have zero problem with that. Did you even call in one day in your life? This was on his deathbed. I asked him this question. When he tells me I'm a workaholic. So what did you teach me? Integrity. You show up, okay? And that's what I do. No matter what I'm involved with, I show up. I'm a doer. I get things done. So in 2015, I started on the Spin board. I'm just starting my 5th year now as the Spin board president and have been excited, have the changes that we've made through the new leadership with David Wetzel, our executive director, and the solid board that we've had now with 11 strong. And I know that we're going to do a lot more things in the community as we adjust our deliverables. Yeah, I mean, I'm a chameleon. I just figure out what needs to be done. I'll take a lesser position. If I have to lead, I'll lead. Whatever it takes to be a team player. I know Spin has very mature staff that has all those capabilities to find out what our client needs are so that we can align them with whether they need dental, whether they need automotive mechanics, whether they do need coaching or job search. That's the beauty of Spin, is that we're kind of a one-stop shop, because if we don't have resources in-house, we know where to find those resources outside, and quite often that's pro bono work, or it's at a very discounted price. When we're short somewhere, it's like, I think I can write another check, and we can take that on. I have way too much. I gotta share. The best thing you can do is give. So for me to go to a friend on any level for Spin or any of the other foundations that they have passion for, It's a phone call, a text, it's a drive-by. Hey, can you help me now? Can you match my donation to your foundation to help spin out? Which I demonstrated this last year when we had our match with Chef Jamie, when I had 2 other individuals came up with $75,000 with me. I have no biases, and I know Spin has no biases. We should take care of everyone. We're all human beings. I don't have a problem with pronouns. I have 0 problem with religious belief. I happen to be a Catholic, and Catholics take everybody in. They're good people, individuals. Then we should help them. We should help them find their life again. You know, and I know we used to use a line, we don't give handouts, we give them a hand up. And I like that process. I like to give people hand ups, whether an employee of mine, whether it's somebody in my church, whether they're a friend of mine, it doesn't matter. And they have a need and I can help them, I'm going to help them. No questions asked.